So it's Douglas Urbanski filling in for Dennis Miller, 1-866-509-RANT if you want to call into the show. If you want to speak to Gary Oldman, 1-866-509-7268 is the number. You know, this guy Oldman never does radio interviews. He never does these things. He's a Howard Hughes-like hermit. He lives up... I've twisted his arm because you with your little Googling fingers have figured out that he and I are friendly with each other and know each other. And I can tell you, not only a great actor, I won't talk about it. I get emotional. Dear, dear, wonderful friend, loyal.
We've known each other a long, long time.
Oh, man.
Over nearly 20 years or so.
And it seems like much more than that, even.
Yes.
So, Gary, I'm going to say that The Godfather is not just a gangster movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Citizen Kane is not just a biopic. And I'm going to say The Wizard of Oz is not just a fantasy movie. And I'm going to say that this Batman is not just a cartoon flick, is it?
No, it's not.
Totally different.
No, if you took away the bat suit, it could play. It holds its own with any film that's out there. It could play as a psychological thriller, a political thriller. I mean, I'm very, very proud of it, and I'm very proud and honored to be a part of it.
I think there's different layers, Gary, that the more you see this movie, you come away contemplating yourself and society, and you dissect it more and more the more you see it. I was very interested when we saw it the second time at that Chicago premiere. You noticed the same thing.
And of course, this IMAX this new thing that Chris Nolan has done with integrating a sort of a regular format with the IMAX. It's an extraordinary. It's an experience in itself just to watch it, like that.
But you and I saw it both in the regular format and also not IMAX, and I found that I enjoyed it. My enjoyment was not diminished when I saw it in a regular theater either.
No, you can see it either
that's
way.
what Chris has done. That is a real hat trick, I think.
Yeah.
When you first saw Heath turn up as the Joker, did you know how good he was going to be?
Well, you know this because I called you. We were filming a scene in London, and I remember calling you, and you said, how's it going? I said, it's going well. And you said, what's he like? And I knew then that it was a very special piece of work. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a phenomenal piece of acting, and there are those actors that I like to think that we consistently do good work, but actors, I've likened it to sort of flying along at sort of subsonic speed, and occasionally in a career, an actor will just go through the sound barrier.
And you told me without telling any tales out of school. By the way, I must say that this segment of the show is brought to you by State Farm, where great coverage meets great rates. So you should click, call, or visit and start saving today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You told me, Gary, that you had many conversations, you socialized on the set, and you told me that you thought that he had the makings in him of a film director, of a real filmmaker. Yeah,
maybe there's probably the people don't know this, but he would shoot sort of these music videos, and I think even often they were not commissioned. They were ideas that he had from songs that he would listen to. He has a very sort of eclectic taste in music. He had an incredible range of sort of music that he would listen to. He would listen to it in the trailer in the morning, and he would get these ideas and he would make these short films. And there was one in particular that he showed me that was animated, and it was so talented. It was so talented, and he had the makings, I think, of a director. There are two sequences in Batman. The scene where he takes the imposter, the phony Batman.
Yes. And we're not giving anything big away here, folks.
Not giving anything away, but there's a sequence where he shoots on a sort of video camera a hostage in an abattoir. That is Heath doing all the camera.
Wow.
And
well, he's caught something very creepy, and those who see that scene will know exactly what I'm talking about.
And there's another sequence when there's someone who is actually another hostage who is upside down in the frame, and he shot that too. So he had a great sort of visual eye and smart, just very, very, very smart. Heath.
And you thought he would have made a good possible director?
With no question. No question. Yeah, that's where I think probably that's where he was heading. I mean, he had, and I've spent some time with his family, and I mean, he had talents that were just so way outside and above and beyond just an actor.
But what do you say to the people who say, well, this is all a lot of overblown hype because he's dead? People are overblowing how good the performance is, or Warner Brothers is capitalizing on it. What do you say to those people?
I say go see the movie.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, just go see the performance. It's as good as anybody's work I've seen. I remember Dennis Hopper's work as Frank Booth in Blue Velvet, Anthony Hopkins in Hannibal Lecter. I mean, this is a startling piece of work, and as you said, you know, it's a fantastic creation. It's one of the all-time movie bad guys.
And it doesn't copy anybody else. It's completely original, isn't it?
It's original. Just really just sort of stands on its own, and it's a flagship of his work.
Of course, you know, Gary, that I believe that one of the reasons the villain is so convincing is because the guy who's playing the good guy is so convincing.
Well, I mean...
I think that you see, I think you need a guy who can sell Jim Gordon in order to make the Joker work, and I'm sticking to that story.
As a friend of ours would say, you're too kind, Doug.
Yes, and I okay. So what if I have an interest in this, Gary? In about another minute, we're going to go to a commercial, and I'd love for you to stick with us as we got people who have great questions for you. But may I take a caller now, Gary?
Yeah.
Let's go to Mark in Chicago. Mark, we've got Gary Oldman on the line. Mark, you have anything you want to say to him?
Yeah, hey, Gary. Nice to talk to you. Not to take anything away from Heath Ledger, but you yourself played a wonderful villain in The Professional. And I had two questions for you. Number one, what was that drug that he took that turned him into a madman? And then secondly, if you could talk a little bit about working with Jean Reno and Natalie Portman, and if you saw at that young age the great actress that Portman would turn into.
And Gary, we've got about 25 seconds to answer all those questions.
Seconds. Well, the drug that I take, it's anything you want it to be.
A true story, Gary. Do you remember we had Hollywood agents who called me up saying, "I got to ask you something. What was that drug supposed to be?"
I had people calling me saying, "Can I get some of that?"
Yeah, where do we get that? You made it up, didn't you?
But Natalie Portman was, you could see already. I think she was like 10 years old on the set when she made that movie.
Want to talk to Gary Oldman? It's 1-866-509-RANT, 1-866-509-7268. It is the Dennis Miller Show. The aforementioned Mr. Miller is not here. It is Douglas Urbanski filling in. Our guest is recluse Gary Oldman.
Dennis Miller Show.